A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away, Emperor Palpatine issued Order 66 to all clone troopers to eliminate every last Jedi. One young Padawan managed to escape the clutches of the Empire and hide on the planet of Bracca as a starship scrapper. This goes very well for years until an incident with his good friend Prof makes him use his Force powers to save him. With the Empire Inquisitor, the second sister, now after him, Cal Kestis must travel with a new crew that saved him across the galaxy to not only survive, but also rebuild the Jedi Order. With this as a starting point, Respawn Entertainment went on to create what is not only the best Star Wars game ever made, in my opinion, but also probably the best game to come out this year. It's not all good though, as this game has some serious drawbacks that make explaining why it's so good a little bit complicated. You play as the quite one-dimensional Padawan Cal Kestis on his journey as he goes from being a past Jedi who's locked himself off from the Force to survive to a fully blown Jedi Knight who's a formidable force and can take on almost anything the galaxy can throw at him. Almost anything. I'm not going to spoil anything, but this isn't the Force Unleashed franchise where you're an unstoppable force. The combat in this game is arguably the main focus and also the thing that will make players love or hate this game. If you've ever played games like Dark Souls or Bloodborne, you'll feel right at home here with parrying and dodging necessary to survive. Cal only has one weapon throughout the entire game and very rarely has any backup at all. This means you just have your lightsaber, and my god, it's amazing. Swinging your lightsaber around feels like it has weight behind it. You have both normal and heavy attacks, which both have a definitive place in the combat. Heavy attacks use up your force meter, so they're more of a tactical attack, whereas normal attacks can be blocked by many enemies. Timing is everything, and a well-placed heavy attack which can break an enemy's defenses can save you. On top of your lightsaber, you also have access to the Force throughout your journey. To start with, you can only slow enemies down so that you can get a quick strike in, but as the story goes on, you'll find memories that will give you more Force powers. This includes the classic push and pull that all fans of Star Wars know very well. In combat, these powers allow you to push weaker enemies off a cliff or even pull them to you for a quick and easy kill. Stronger enemies will need more tactical thinking, however, as they can often resist these skills. This means you'll need to wear down their defensive meters before you can actually do damage. Doing things like timing a block perfectly can break this defense briefly to allow you a free hit, but this is incredibly difficult to do regularly, especially on higher difficulty levels where the timing needs to be much better. The thing is, even if you got good at the timing, this game is still hard and it will punish you for even just the tiniest of mistakes. You can heal with stims given to you by your droid BD-1, but there is only a limited amount of those. You'll start your journey with 2 stims available, which can be upgraded to 5. There is, however, no way to pick any more of these up throughout the world, so to restore them you either must die or rest at a Jedi meditation marker. Doing this, by the way, resets every enemy on the map, so it's something you need to think long and hard about doing. If you do die, you'll go back to the last meditation circle you visited, and any enemies you killed since will be back. This can become really frustrating during some of the more difficult sections, but for the most part they're very well spaced out, so you don't have to go too far if you die. Once you find whatever killed you, you only have to cause some damage on them to pick up all the experience that you lost and replenish your health bar fully. This difficulty makes every kill feel good, and beating boss fights feels like a real achievement. Cal isn't a fully trained Jedi, so isn't unstoppable. The combat in this game goes a long way to make you feel like you're not just surviving, and makes the Empire feel like the near impossible force it is in the movies. Another part of the game that can be very difficult is traversing the world. Respawn certainly took an awful lot of inspiration from games like Uncharted and Tomb Raider here. You'll be climbing up cliff faces, jumping across gaps, swinging on ropes, and unfortunately sliding down muddy and icy slopes throughout the whole story. These slopes are one of the big problems with the game, however. At the start of the game, it's simply a way of blocking off earlier parts of the level, but later on you'll need to steer yourself around twists and jumps so you don't fall off to your death. The problem is, the steering simply doesn't work at all, and for the most part, when you do make it without falling, it feels more like luck rather than skill. The one redeeming factor is that falling off doesn't outright kill you, it takes a small amount of health off you, but you'll rarely die from this. If you stick the game on story mode, however, you'll get no damage from falling off, so there's always that. The rest of the traversal works really well, however, with climbing looking and feeling great. Platforming works incredibly well, and using your force powers to help you get around feels just incredible. From slowing down spinning blades to pushing bridges down so that you can get over them, there's always more to find, and it rarely feels like a chore. You're not on your journey alone, as you have your trusty crew on your ship with you at all times. Ex-Jedi Cira Junda and ship captain Grease Dristus will always be on your ship to talk to you and help Cal with all the conflicts he'll come across throughout the story. Cira is very serious all of the time and serves as a kind of mentor, whilst Grease is there for the comedic relief and takes up the Han Solo kind of role. Along with these two, there's your trusty droid who's always by your side through thick and thin. The little BD-1 is hands down the best droid ever included in any Star Wars medium, in my opinion, and by the end of the game, I would have honestly fired a Death Star at Tatooine if he'd asked me to. That's how amazingly well animated and written that he is. Just like R2-D2 in the movies, BD-1 can only communicate in bleeps, but he brings so much emotion to the table with how he does it. For the most part, BD-1, who's often called Buddy, stays on your back, but he'll often jump off to run to something to scan, or a crate to pick up something new. He'll also move around your back when you squeeze through small spaces, so he doesn't hit his head on a beam or get crushed between Cal's back and the wall. All this goes to give him character, so that when something inevitably happens to put him in danger, you immediately jump to the rescue and actually feel quite angry at those that try to hurt him. BD-1 isn't just a little sidekick who's there to look cute and scan things, however. He's also used to help move the story along. Just like how R2-D2 carried a message for Obi-Wan Kenobi in A New Hope, BD-1 carries many holograms of Jedi Master Eno Cordova as he tries to find the secrets of an ancient civilization called the Zepho. Throughout your journey, you'll travel on the stunning ship called the Mantis to a few planets in the galaxy. The Mantis is always the start and finish of every journey to every single planet, and so it's the one safe place in the galaxy. Inside the ship, you can talk to your crew, customize your lightsaber, look at the weird plants that you collect, and travel between planets. You'll travel to Kashyyyk, Bogano, Zepho, Dathomir, Ilum, and Nur during the story, with each world being completely different to the last. From the lush jungles of the Wookiee homeworld of Kashyyyk to the red rocky desert of Dathomir, each planet is both beautiful and huge. The maps on each planet remind you of a Metroidvania game, with secret passageways and shortcuts everywhere. These maps that seem huge to start with open up even more once new force powers get unlocked, and when you can upgrade BD-1. These new areas can often be more of the same, or even completely different to the rest of the planet. The best example of this is on Kashyyyk, where you go from an industrial complex to lush, untouched forest, and it's quite simply incredible. The whole of this game is just beautiful, and it has a sense of scale that I haven't seen in a video game. From the first area of the game on Braca, you come up close to Star Destroyers, and quite simply, they're huge. You get the sense that hundreds of people can live on these ships, and that they would be a serious threat to the rest of the galaxy. Even the smaller ships that you see are huge, and this makes it believable that they be used to transport troops. The Mantis in particular has a huge wing that quite often is the highest point on the planet, and there are just times you just have to stop, look, and feel like you're truly part of a huge lived-in galaxy at war. The game throws moments at you that make you sit back in pure amazement constantly. Yeah, it has those big set pieces that games like Uncharted are known for, but these set pieces are much, much bigger and give you those hype moments that Star Wars is known for. There's so many Easter eggs and homages to both the prequels and the original trilogy that both hardcore and casual fans will appreciate. Certain famous characters can show up and be talked about in passing conversation, but this never comes off as cheesy or not earned, as they always add something to the story in the right way. Oh, and the sound design for this game is just unreal. Honestly, this is the best sounding game I think I've ever played. The Star Wars score is just incredible in the movies, and it really shines in this game. In fact, I'll go as far as to say this is the best music Star Wars has ever had, including in the movies. On top of this, your lightsaber and Stormtroopers blasters also sound perfect as well, which all goes to add to the fact that you're playing an amazing Star Wars game. All this comes together at the end of the game, with the last fight you take part in being just perfect. The music plays and makes the fight have an epic scale, you genuinely feel like you're in danger, and it's the perfect ending to an outstanding experience. So with all that being said, the game isn't perfect. At times it feels like there's too far between meditation areas, which can make the game feel annoying and repetitive if you're stuck on a certain part. On top of this, I really can't stress enough how bad the slope sliding is. I'm just happy there isn't too much of these, but they really are quite bad. Also, many people have complained about bugs, although I didn't hit any game-breaking ones. There was a few times I got caught in the world and had to mash buttons until I managed to get free. There has, however, been plenty of stories of people falling down a cliff, getting stuck, and making them have to do a hard reset on the game. On top of this, I played on a PS4 Pro, and I still had frame rate drops all the time below 60. This normally happened when there was a lot going on, and this caused me to die quite a few times. Changing the game to performance mode can help this a lot, and it still looks great, but it's not perfect at all. The biggest problem I had during the 20 odd hours of the story was the facial animation and lip syncing. Towards the end of the game, I noticed a few cutscenes had some serious problems, with characters' mouths moving up to a second before the sound started, and this was really jarring. So yeah, this game isn't perfect, it's not even close, and honestly, I can't say it's a good game. That is, of course, because this is a great game, and honestly, this is the best Star Wars game ever made. Period. Respawn have done such an amazing job here, and I really hope this starts a new franchise with DLC and even a sequel. So here's the big question then, is this my game of the year? Quite honestly, I don't know. Thankfully, there's over a month for me to think about it. It could be this, it could be The Outer Worlds, and honestly, I'm not sure. Right now, coming right off of Jedi Fallen Order, I'd have to say it's this, but that could change. This game made me have more wow moments that made me fall back in love with Star Wars, and AAA games all at the same time, where The Outer Worlds made me laugh like I haven't playing a game in a long time. Again, like I said with The Outer Worlds, if the game came out last year, then it wouldn't be in the conversation because God of War was so good. And next year, I still think The Last of Us Part 2 and Cyberpunk 2077 will dominate the year. But nothing this year has had this kind of scope, and nothing has been quite as big of a surprise. Respawn haven't quite created a masterclass, but they've gotten incredibly close. Even after completing the story, I want to go back and play it again. I want more from them, and that's the best compliment I think you can give to a game. Even the bugs and a few poor design decisions don't detract enough from this game to stop it being truly incredible, and a game I'm so happy and grateful got made. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I'm Jack, and this has been Games to You.